Now listen to this. It actually down-regulates oxidative stress pathways. I believe it is stronger. It does more. This is like the next generation BPC that everybody's going to be wanting to use it. I will never, ever put doubt on that. Better than BPC-157? Really? Is that possible? Something that is going to be more popular and more widely used? Oh, I don't know, because everybody under the sun wants to talk about BPC-157, and rightfully so, because it is tremendous. But there are other compounds out there that do some amazing things. And I'm going to talk to you about what I believe is the most underrated peptide in existence. It is at the top of my list of new favorites, and that is KPV. Now, I am Dylan Gemelli. I am your resident expert when it comes to hormones, peptides, and biohacking in general. And I am only smart because I hang around smart people, and I just have years of experience and study and a lot of on-hand coaching, seeing how things work. And I have learned from some of the best people around the world, especially when it comes to peptides. So I'm going to get into some things here talking about KPV. Now, most people have kind of learned about KPV through the CLO stack, because at first it was the GLOW stack, which we know is BPC-157, TB500, and GHKCU copper peptide. But then we started to see the CLO stack, and I believe it was called CLO because we added the KPV to it. I think that is the shining star. I will not come out here and say that it is better than BPC-157, but it is extremely synergistic with it because, look, BPC is phenomenal. It is body protective compound. It is one of the most well-known, most reputable, if not the most reputable peptide and most popular in existence, and rightfully so. I will never, ever put doubt on that. However, KPV works synergistically with it extremely well. So what I'm going to do is give you an explanation here on KPV, what it is, what it does, why I love it so much. And then we're going to talk about the synergy between the two. So it is a tripeptide of 3 amino acids. So we're talking about lysine, proline, and valine. Now, it's a fragment of a larger molecule, and that's known as AMSH, and that plays a central role in immune function, inflammation control, and melanogenesis. One of the things that makes KPV a standout and really unique is that it retains all the anti-inflammatory benefits of an AMSH without stimulating melanocyte receptors. So that makes it really safe for systemic use without affecting pigmentation or hormone levels in any way, shape, or form. Now, I'm going to run down some of the benefits of KPV. Number one is that it has really, really strong anti-inflammatory effects. Now, it's been shown to suppress pro-inflammatory cytokines, which are implicated in numerous chronic conditions. And this makes it really valuable in controlling systemic and localized inflammation without suppressing the immune system entirely like steroids would. Number two, and this is one of the things that I think it's most well known for, and one of the things that I absolutely love about it, it supports gut healing as well as barrier function. So one of the most exciting aspects of KPV's application is in healing the intestinal mucosal barrier. Now, it enhances epithelial cell regeneration and it reduces inflammatory signaling. It promotes tight junction integrity, and this is crucial for, yes, addressing leaky gut syndrome and other food sensitivities, IBD, etc. Number three, we're talking about a balance of immune activity. Rather than suppressing immunity, KPV modulates it. So it helps calm an overactive immune response without compromising defense mechanisms, which makes it really ideal for autoimmune diseases, histamine intolerance, mast cell activation syndrome, also known as MCAS, gastrointestinal disorders. So it does a ton. What else does it do? It improves skin conditions. It has topical and systemic applications in improving psoriasis, eczema, inflammatory acne, and these effects are due to its suppression of inflammatory mediators as well as restoration of skin barrier function. What else? It protects against oxidative stress. Now listen to this. It actually downregulates oxidative stress pathways and reduces reactive oxygen species. And what does that do? It gives protection at the cellular level and it improves tissue healing, especially in the gut, the brain, and our skin. Here's one of my favorite aspects aside from the gut health that we talked about. It supports neurological health. You guys have heard me talk a ton now recently about the mind-body connection. You know about my studies in neuroscience. So what does it do? It reduces neuroinflammation and oxidative stress. So we're talking about helping with brain fog, migraines, neurodegenerative concerns, mood disorders that are tied to inflammation. Now, let's talk about mechanism of action here. How does it work? It works by targeting several different pathways simultaneously. I'm going to throw some stuff out here at you. So it inhibits NF-κB activation, and that is a central pro-inflammatory transcription factor. Now, it suppresses IL-6, TNF-A, and MCP-1. These are common inflammatory cytokines. And it also restores tight junction proteins, which then reduces gut permeability. It also calms mast cells and modulating allergic and autoimmune responses, and it downregulates TLR4, which reduces innate immune overactivation. And its safety and systemic tolerance make it a very unique, versatile peptide in the anti-inflammatory toolkit. It's often described as an anti-inflammatory peptide, as you can see, but inflammation is only one piece of recovery. Reducing inflammation helps, but healing, this depends on tissue signaling, circulation, and repair capacity. The Injury, Joint, and Recovery Blueprint explains where peptides like KPV fit and why controlling inflammation alone isn't enough. You got to get the Joint and Injury Recovery Blueprint and read that and learn about it. Now, who should consider KPV peptide therapy? It's ideal for people that have gastrointestinal issues, inflammation, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, IBS, leaky gut, esophagitis, post-antibiotic gut dysbiosis, autoimmune and inflammatory conditions, psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimoto's, lupus, histamine intolerance, MCAS. I mean, there's a long list of things. It helps stabilize mast cells, like I said, reduce histamine-mediated symptoms, and restore gut lining integrity. Skin conditions, like I talked about, acne, eczema, chronic dermatitis, and it also accelerates tissue healing and it dampens post-trauma inflammation, particularly in soft tissues and mucosal linings. BPC-157 is largely focused on tissue repair and regeneration, while KPV is a specialized anti-inflammatory and immune modulating peptide. So they're often used together to create a very comprehensive healing protocol that addresses both physical injury and inflammation. So just real quick to touch on BPC-157. BPC-157 works by increasing angiogenesis, which is new blood vessel growth. It improves circulation to our injured areas and accelerates cell regeneration. So it's best for injuries like our tendons, ligaments, muscles, post-surgical recovery, chronic gut issues like ulcers and joint pain. And it's known for its ability to promote healing, even in harsh environments like the digestive tract. Now, I covered everything there is to know about KPV. What are we going to do here with these? Are we going to stack them? Or are we going to use them separately? You can use them separately just fine. I assure you, they do extremely well on their own. But when they use together, they offer a very synergistic approach to healing comprehensive gut health, because BPC repairs the structural damage while KPV reduces the inflammation that caused the damage. Then let's look at some advanced recovery. So BPC accelerates tissue repair and KPV manages the inflammatory response. So that reduces the overall recovery time. So you see, it's like peanut butter and jelly. And that's one of the things I love, is that while used on their own, some of these are absolutely phenomenal. But when you start stacking them together and you see the synergy and you see how they work hand in hand, it is on an entirely different level. So KPV, to me, it is the most underrated peptide right now. But more and more people are starting to get up to speed on it and understand. To me, this is like the next generation BPC that everybody's going to be wanting to use it, especially with all of the understanding and concern on leaky gut and all of these other conditions that I talked about. And I truly believe that, I know that everybody uses BPC and TB500 as like their master stack. I think KPV will replace TB500. I believe it is stronger. It does more. TB500 works extremely well with BPC-157, no doubt. There's no doubt there whatsoever. I've been a huge proponent of that. But if you had to pick between all four in the close stack, and as much as I love GHKCU, the first two I would pick would be BPC-157 and KPV all day long. That's the synopsis there. Is it better than BPC-157? That's arguable, considering that it addresses something that is so prevalent of a problem. And we're talking about leaky gut. I believe that is one of the biggest problems and biggest culprits in the degradation of overall health. And as much and as necessary as BPC is for injury healing and prevention, I think leaky gut is a much bigger problem. I think there's a fair argument there in KPV's favor, but to each their own. I'm only here to give facts. So that being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.